Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we would like to remind everyone to please settle down or find your comfortable seats as we are about to begin our afternoon event. To those who are seated at the back, please move forward or please occupy the seats and you may move forward and occupy the vacant seats near you. Once again, to those who are seated at the back, you may move forward and occupy the vacant seats near you. And also would like to remind everyone to please settle down and find your comfortable seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special lunch roundtable, advancing the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum as an Asian regional mechanism. To chair this discussion, we have Dr. Asyura Saleh, Associate Program Officer, UNODC Global Maritime Crime Program. With her are the panelists, the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Admiral Ronnie Latorilla Gavan, Admiral Datuk Haji Mod Rosli bin Abdullah, Director General Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency, Vice Admiral Pongsak Sombun, Deputy Secretary General Thai Maritime Enforcement Command Center, Vice Admiral Irvansha, Chief Bakamla Indonesian Maritime Security Agency, and Major General Tran Van Long, Vice Commandant Chief of Staff of the Vietnam Coast Guard. Dr. Salimam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, Admirals, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special luncheon roundtable. It is a privilege to moderate today's discussion on advancing the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum as a regional mechanism. Today's panel is also supported and moderated by the UNODC Global Maritime Crime Program. Now, the idea of a Coast Guard Forum was first deliberated during the ASEAN Maritime Forum in Da Nang in 2014, and later through the experts group's meeting. And since then, this concept has steadily matured. Since its first meeting in Bali in 2022, to the growing momentum that it's had under the Indonesia leadership, the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum was most recently held in Pattaya as well. And really, it has since accelerated into this vehicle with tremendous potential to become a critical pillar of ASEAN's maritime security architecture. The ACF revolves around principles that are in alignment with the ASEAN Charter, and they form the very basis of this forum. Currently, at its level of maturity, the forum continues to deliberate the terms of reference and also the concept paper. And across these discussions, we've seen that the forum offers a high-level platform for operational understanding, confidence building, and regional coordination amongst our maritime law enforcement agencies. And so as we stand today, especially within the region's shifting environment, the ACF provides the region an option for active shared ownership over our seas. It's very distinct from the other mechanisms in ASEAN, as it is very practitioner-driven, it's very operational, and it centers on maritime law enforcement. So today we are grateful to have with us the guardians of maritime security in the region. They've been carefully selected and invited to capture this journey of the ACF, the past, the present, and the future. We have those who have shaped its evolution, those who are currently driving it, and those who will shepherd its next chapter. So our hope is by the end of this session, we'll all have a more detailed understanding of what the ACF brings as a critical peg in the region's maritime security space, and why its progression through the ASEAN process will allow it to reach its full potential. And so allow me to welcome our extremely distinguished panel in alphabetical order of the country they represent. What we will do is I will be officially introducing our panelists, and as I do so, I would invite them to approach the podium, where they will then be sharing very short remarks of around 8 minutes each, reflecting on the value that the forum brings to collective enforcement within Southeast Asia. They'll speak a bit on the evolution of the forum, how it came about, what the lessons were, and future expectations of the role of the forum for the region. And so may I please welcome VADM Dr. Irvan Shah, Head of Badan Keamanan Laut, or Bakamla. Dr. Irvan Shah started his career in the Indonesian Navy in 1990 after he graduated from the Indonesian Naval Academy. He was a graduate of the Indonesia School of Navy Command and Staff. He was firstly placed in the Navy Education Command as a commissioned officer before assuming the duty as head of Indonesian Coast Guard since last August 2023. Bapak, silakan.
Thank you, Ms. Saleh. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great honor to speak at this session of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, or ACGF, and to reflect on its vital role in strengthening our collective response to maritime challenges. It's an honor to be here alongside Admiral Gavan, my esteemed colleague and Commandant of Philippine Coast Guard, who will graciously host the 2026 ACF. And then Vice Admiral Pongsak Sombung from TIMEC, who successfully hosted the last June ACF in Pattaya, and my distinguished colleague from Malaysia, Maritime Enforcement Agency, who will soon host our own edition of the ACF, and our colleague from Cambodia, whose consistent and constructive contributions continue to enrich our discussions. We are also pleased to extend a warm welcome to the Timor-Leste Coast Guard as the newest member of the ACF, following the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste accession to ASEAN last October. Their participation further strengthened our regional cooperation and collective commitment to maritime safety and security. As my colleague has already prepared and provide a comprehensive overview, I will take this opportunity to highlight a few key aspects of the ACF's continuing work and its growing importance in fostering trust, coordination, and mutual support among our member states. First, as ASEAN members, we share common challenges in maritime security and safety, and no single country can address these issues alone. We need collaboration. The ACF provides a practical platform for cooperation among our Coast Guard and maritime law enforcement agencies. Through the forum, we can strengthen coordination, enhance interoperability, and build mutual trust, turning ASEAN principle of unity into tangible maritime cooperation by sharing information, conducting joint training, and coordinating responses to incidents at sea. The ACF improves maritime domain awareness, builds collective preparedness, and enhances our capacity to address non-traditional security threats. In short, the ACF brings ASEAN closer to a truly unified, cohesive, and responsive maritime community. On the other hand, as ACF still on the way to its formalization, we are working on the tangible output and exploring a potential collaboration to ensure that ACF achieves its full potential. We must also explore the formalization within ASEAN institutional frameworks. Formalization will provide continuity, clarity, purpose, and sustainability. The possible pathway includes finalize and get consensus on the term of reference and concept paper that define the forum mandate, structure, and coordination mechanism. In response to the request of our fellow members of the ACF, I had the courage on behalf of the forum to meet with the Secretary General of ASEAN, His Excellency Dr. Kau Kim Hoon, last August to discuss the pathway toward the formalization of the ACF. The Secretary General conveyed his strong support and offered several constructive suggestions on how the forum could advance this process. Concurrently, we are continuing our effort to strengthen linkage with existing ASEAN bodies, including the ASEAN Maritime Forum, the expanded ASEAN Maritime Forum, and other relevant maritime mechanisms. While consensus has yet to be reached on the two draft documents, we are exploring the positioning of the ACF under the ASEAN Political Security Community or APSC to ensure alignment and coherence with ASEAN's overarching strategic objectives. Through this collective effort, the ACF is progressively evolving from a dialogue platform into recognized ASEAN mechanism that complements and reinforces the region's maritime security architecture. In this regard, and taking into account the existing ASEAN Plus frameworks, we may in due course consider the possibility of engaging ACF Plus partners to further advance our shared maritime interests. Finally, I would also like to highlight the importance of aligning ACF objectives with broader regional ASEAN interests. We share common challenges such as countering transnational crime, ensuring stability at sea, and upholding international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The ACF can contribute meaningfully in first, combating drug smuggling, armed robbery, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and other maritime crimes. Second, promoting peaceful collaboration, cooperation, and confidence building among maritime actors. And the third, reinforcing ASEAN's commitment to rules-based, stable, and open maritime region. In this context, I would like to draw attention to the positive example of the trilateral Coast Guard cooperation among Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Second, we are also working to develop coordinated patrol among ASEAN member states, including close collaboration with the Filipino Coast Guard, or PCG. The PCG has proposed a framework known as CPIS, or the Common Protocol on Engagement at Sea for Coast Guard. This initiative aims to create a standardized set of operational guidelines that can facilitate effective coordination, reduce misunderstanding at sea, and promote interoperability among ASEAN Coast Guards. Through CPIS, we can move towards a more harmonized and rules-based approach to maritime cooperation, ensuring that Coast Guard operations across the region are conducted safely, transparently, and according with international law. This will further strengthen our collective capacity to maintain peace and security. The practical collaboration demonstrates how mutual trust, structured coordination can enhance maritime security and operational efficiency. Such alignment ensures that the ACF not only strengthens operational capacity, but also advance ASEAN collective vision of peace, security, and prosperity at sea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Admiral. Really appreciated Indonesia's lead in pushing ACF through, considering that the first meeting was held in Bali, and reaching out to the ASEAN Secretariat for getting more clarification on the formalization. We've also noted the other complementary operational coordination initiatives that Indonesia is participating with other Southeast Asian Coast Guard agencies on. And with that, allow me to please invite Admiral Maritime Datuk Haji Muhammad Rosli bin Abdullah, Director General from the Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency. A graduate of UiTM and the World Maritime University, he began his career in the Navy before joining MMEA in 2005. Amongst his senior posts are Director of Maritime Security and Surveillance, Maritime Intelligence, and the Sabah and Labuan Maritime State, leading major operations against smuggling, cross-border crime, and illegal fishing. He's also advanced Malaysia's surveillance capability through the SWASLA Sea Surveillance System project. Appointed Director General in 2024, Admiral Rosli brings 30 years of maritime experience across ASEAN and regional Coast Guard initiatives. Silakan, Tuan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, our esteemed moderator, Dr. Ashura Saleh, my fellow commandants, Admiral Gavan, Philippine Coast Guard, Admiral Irwansyah, Indonesian Coast Guard, and Admiral Ponsak, TIMAC. Director General, senior representatives, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be here today in Manila for the second dialogue on the South China Sea. I especially thank the UNODC, GMCP for supporting this discussion today. We focus on a very important topic, advancing the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum as a regional mechanism. I'm here to share the Malaysia view in general and the Malaysia Coast Guard view in specific. The great value of the Act in helping to meet our maritime law enforcement needs in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, why do we need the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, or ACF? The sea lanes of Southeast Asia are some of the busiest in the world, bringing us great income and resources. However, this strategic location also brings serious challenges related to maritime security and safety. We face complex threats like mentioned before by Admiral Irwansyah, issues like illegal IUU fishing, illegal unreported and unregulated fishing, the drug trafficking and armed robbery, human smuggling and trafficking, and many other issues in our waters make it very clear that there is no single ASEAN member state can tackle these issues alone. Transnational crime, to tackle transnational crime, we must work together as a region to create common procedures and acceptable conduct at sea. The idea for Specialized Coast Guard Forum, ACF, started back in 2014 at the 5th ASEAN Maritime Forum in Vietnam. The purpose was simple, to create a platform for dialogue and exchanging views among our maritime law enforcement agencies. Since its first meeting in 2022, the ACF has helped our agencies share experiences, share best practices, and build mutual trust. Our agencies are the first responder and frontline actors when dealing with challenges at sea. The ACF goal is to build confidence and interoperability through dialogue and joint capacity building. The ACF has quickly shown that it can enhance both our maritime domain awareness and our collective enforcement capability. For Malaysia, the key success to ACF, our views, for the ACF to succeed as a strong regional mechanism, it must focus on practical law enforcement needs, especially in two key areas, which is the information sharing and also joint operations. For the information sharing, transnational crime like drugs or human trafficking may cross our borders easily. We need the ability to share information quickly to catch these perpetrators. One core objective of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum is to establish a clear mechanism for sharing information among our agencies. This mechanism must share intelligence-related information to maritime security threats, such as transnational crime, safety issues, and also environmental issues. But it is essential that it does so without duplicating any mechanism that already exists. Crucially, the scope of activities for the ACF includes establishing a single point of contact between our Coast Guards and maritime law enforcement agencies. The sharing, which has included ACF monthly briefing, is necessary for us to understand what is happening in our shared waters. Secondly, is the practical joint activities and coordinations. Dialogue, such we have here today, is very important, but joint work is where we can see the most practical values. The objective of ACF already state that we must strengthen the capacity through activities such as joint activities where appropriate and personal exchange program. We also aim to promote cooperation and coordination to enhance maritime safety and security. This means moving towards training, shared training, common standard, and where needed, coordinating our patrol to better respond to shared threats. This focus on strengthening practical coordination and capacity, which is precisely what the ACF must deliver. In formalizing the ACF, to make the ACF a recognized ASEAN regional mechanism, we must complete the necessary work to formalize it. In June 2025, during the 4th ASEAN Coast Guard Forum Commanders meeting in Pattaya, Thailand, we made significant progress. The representatives discussed the working draft on the term of reference and the concept paper line by line. This detailed work ensures that the ACF goals align with the wider interests of ASEAN, such as countering transnational crime, promoting stability at sea, and respecting international law. The forum must clearly state that it will support, complement, and contribute to existing ASEAN mechanism while addressing the gaps in maritime law enforcement. This process helps to promote ASEAN when we engage with partners in other regional forums. In conclusion, the ACF is more than just a place for us to dialogue. It is a critical tool for maritime law enforcement in Southeast Asia. By establishing strong information sharing and coordination mechanism, we can better protect our waters and our people. Malaysia looks forward to continuing to work together with all ASEAN member states to successfully transition the SCF into a formal regional mechanism, strengthening our ability to deliver a safe, secure, clean, and peaceful maritime environment for the region. With that, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to highlight the emphasis placed on formalizing the process within ASEAN and also the two critical areas that you suggested ACF focus on, which are information sharing and joint operations. Perhaps that's something that we could delve in a bit more. Next, we would like to invite the Admiral Juanigil Latoria Gavan, 30th Commander of the Philippines Coast Guard, with vast experiences as Commander of various Coast Guard districts and PCG major units, and as Commanding Officer of PCG capital ships and BFAR vessels. This includes the very first PCG unit to assist arriving overseas Filipino workers and the PCG's Hatid Tulong initiative for locally stranded individuals, which was conducted during the height of COVID-19. Admiral Gavan has also led the PCG Task Force Paksananay of Angels of the Sea radio operators. This was his brainchild aboard PCG vessels. As a testament of all his accomplishments and significant contributions to the country and the Filipino people, Admiral Gavan has received numerous medals and awards for his service. Thank you, Admiral. The floor is yours.
I think I am assigned with one of the hardest portion of this particular engagement today. Being the third speaker means you almost have nothing to say anymore. I'd like to start by paying my highest respect to my good friend, the Commandant of Indonesia Coast Guard, Vice Admiral Irvansha. Another good friend from a very close neighbor, the Director General of Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, otherwise known as Malaysian Coast Guard, Admiral Rosli. Our friend from Thailand, who was our gracious host during the 2025 ACF heads the commanders meeting or the high-level meeting, Vice Admiral Punluk Sumbun, I hope I said it right. Distinguished delegates of the Manila Dialogue, to all of us, good afternoon. The ASEAN Coast Guard Forum owes its existence to the common experiences and shared commitment between and among the ASEAN Coast Guards in the neighborhood, as we are to address the ever-changing threats within our maritime domain. As a region, we are confronted with a myriad of challenges ranging from transnational crimes, from illegal fishing, non-traditional maritime security threats, and other challenges, up to natural disasters, including environmental degradation. And being so, we recognize that we need a platform to be exclusive, to be ASEAN-centric, where we can discuss things anchored on the ASEAN way. At present, the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum high-level meeting focuses on the review and refinement of the ACF terms of reference and the concept paper, and working closely towards its early adoption, and to formalize the ACF's potential acceptance as an ASEAN sectoral body. That is our goal. The current effort of the body is a product of what was tackled very, very extensively in our meeting at Pattaya, Thailand, in the 4th ACF meeting last June 2025. It was also during the 4th ACF when the Philippine Coast Guard bared its plan to host again the ACF high-level meeting on 19 to 22 May 2026 for a reason. This is in line with our aspiration to bring forth all the best that we can as our country assumes the chairmanship of ASEAN next year. Our plan to host the high-level meeting is also welcomed by other ACF member states. Thank you. Members from Brunei, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and of course our newest member, Timor-Leste, has paved the way for us to reassume the role of chairmanship next year. And in view of the PCG's upcoming hosting, the Philippine Coast Guard reaffirms its steadfast commitment to advancing and sustaining the ACF initiatives, particularly in the areas of capacity building, people-to-people exchanges, port visits, operational cooperation, and the Ship Rider Program. As part of these key initiatives, the Philippine Coast Guard intends to extend its Coast Guard Officer Senior Executive Course, or CGOSEC, which is recognized as the equivalent of the General Staff Course of the Philippine Army and the military services, to officers from the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum member agencies. The upcoming CGOSEC Class 04-2026, which is scheduled to convene in February 2025. It will be complemented by a short-term and socialized training courses. It will underscore the PCG's dedication to cultivating a more interconnected, capable, and resilient ASEAN Coast Guard community. As what our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said, ASEAN is our ship, and 2026 will be the year when we have to set full sail forward towards our shared horizon. Guided by these words, the Philippine Coast Guard would like to take the lead again and be in charge in navigating the future of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum together with you, the ASEAN way. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Admiral. And also interesting to hear your aspirations for the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum.
I'm sorry, I forgot to recognize you.
I speak to you all the time anyway. It's okay. Yes, so as mentioned earlier, the Philippines will be hosting the next ASEAN Coast Guard Forum. So that's something that we are looking forward to, and hopefully something we can look into in our discussion later. Last but not least, allow me to invite Vice Admiral Pongsak Somboon, Deputy Secretary General of the Thai Maritime Enforcement Command Center. Vice Admiral Pongsak began his naval career in 1985 and has progressed through the ranks of Deputy Director of the Policy and Planning Division and the Naval Operations Department. He's been appointed as Commander of the 1st Flotilla of the Riverine Squadron and the Royal Thai Naval Attaché to China. He was promoted to Rear Admiral before serving as Commander of the Submarine Squadron and was recently last year appointed as Vice Admiral. Before serving as Deputy Secretary General, Vice Admiral Pongsak was Director of the Maritime Enforcement Operations Center as well. Please, Vice Admiral, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the excellent moderator, Dr. Ashura, and all my friends from the Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Philippines, all the commandant about the Maritime Enforcement Agency. So that is the big difficult to me for the last person to speak almost the same thing, but I will do my best. Excellency, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Sawasdee krab. For me, I will talk about the renewed momentum to institutionalize the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum as a formal regional mechanism for cooperation. And this is the great honor for me, for the Thailand and the ThaiMec to come to this event. And thank you for the UNODC, the Philippine government, and also the Philippine Coast Guard to make it happen today. Now, we meet at the pivot point moment for our region, the maritime domain awareness, and also the situation in the South China Sea. It's not only the trade or connectivity and economic growth in the region, but it also the food security, increasing the environment, sustainability, and the livelihood of the ASEAN people. But now we know that the increasingly contest and complex that situation in the ASEAN, like illegal activity, transnational crimes, and natural disaster, also the geopolitical dynamics. For the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, we need it. We think it's very necessary and strategic for our region. What began and the formal platform to dialogue and cooperation that now we will be more active and good mechanism. The purpose of and value of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, the core mission is to foster and enhance coordination to build a common vision among ASEAN maritime law enforcement agencies. By institutionalizing the forum, ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, we can coordinate our action more effectively in the area of like IUU fishing, people smuggling, or maritime incidents, and also the disaster response. And finally, about the search and rescue operation at sea. Importantly, the effort is to create mechanisms for cooperation that respect the national jurisdictions, build mutual confidence, and demonstrate ASEAN ability to address maritime challenges through peaceful, lawful, and cooperative means. By doing so, we strengthen not only the regional stability but also the ASEAN credibility as a constructive actor in the wider Indo-Pacific. We believe in the 4 pathways to stronger cooperation. Like the first thing is coordinate patrol. We experience about the coordinating patrol that can reduce the IUU fishing, can disrupt human trafficking networks, and improve incident response. The efforts under the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum we can do by joint planning, share procedure, and it will multiply the impact. The second, the information sharing. We believe that the information is the foundation of effective maritime domain awareness. Establishing robust channel for sharing vessel data, suspicious activity reports, and incident alerts that will enable faster, more coordinated response. The TIMEC is committed to connect system to the broader ASEAN information sharing framework, turning raw data into the actionable intelligence. The third one, the capacity building. Our region, we have to line the capability of all members in the ASEAN. Through the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum, we can co-deliver training, workshops, and personal exchanges that improve technical skill and operational interoperability. Thailand ready to share the experience in maritime surveillance, legal enforcement, and interagency coordination, and also would like to learn from the strength of our partner ASEAN, such as initiative to ensure that no member is left behind. The fourth important thing is the humanitarian assistance and disaster response. Our share are vulnerable, like here, typhoon, oil spill, environmental, and other accidents that transcend our borders. To coordinate it, HADR is therefore a vital dimension of cooperation. The ACGF can help develop regional HADR protocol that we can pre-position the resource, organize joint exercise to ensuring we are ready to respond quickly and effectively. The important thing is that we have been in the rule-based order and respect for sovereignty. All these efforts must be firmly rooted in international law, especially the UNCLOS, the ASEAN Charter, to grounding ASEAN Coast Guard Forum activity in a rule-based framework to ensure that the cooperation complement also build trust among the ASEAN member and also the external partner. Our actions are guided by law, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to regional peace. For Thailand, we will institutionalize the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum as a strategic investment in our shared future for the ASEAN. Through the TIMEC, we are committed to support coordinated patrol, advancing information sharing networks, contributing to capacity building initiatives, and participating actively in a HADR effort. We also believe that the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum can serve as a bridge between ASEAN and external partners to reinforcing a free, open, and peaceful Indo-Pacific. Moreover, Thailand, through TIMEC, is firmly to commit to promoting peace and maritime security across the region by actively advancing the 4 core pillars of cooperation under the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum. For my conclusion, our ASEAN, our sea, connect us together. There are the arteries of trade, the cradle of biodiversity, and the shared space that bind our destinies. Institutionalizing the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum is more than an institutional milestone. It is a demonstration of ASEAN's unity, a tool for building confidence, and a mechanism for safeguarding peace and stability in the South China Sea and beyond. For Thailand, we stand ready to work hand in hand with our ASEAN partner and other partners to transform our shared vision into action, to protect our waters, uphold the rule of law, and ensure the future generation that can inherit a maritime domain defined by peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you very much, Vice Admiral. Really admired the way you added a human element to it. Really, at the end of the day, the 4 pathways that you set out seeks to enhance the livelihood of our maritime communities and the broader region. And I think you added unique emphasis on a coordinated HADR approach as well. Thank you very much once again, everyone, to our panelists for those remarks on your reflections on the future and potential of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum. With this in mind, I'd like to open our conversation to the audience. I've got lots of questions, but I think I do not have the prerogative as chair. And in fact, I'd have to give that over to you all instead. So if you have any questions, please, I'd encourage you to share your name, affiliation, and yep, let's keep our reflections concise to leave room for others as well. So we'll start with 2 questions over on that end, and then we'll have you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ashura. My name is Christian Suprianto from the University of Indonesia. I think the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum is a very important platform for dialogues and exchanges, not only to build confidence, but also to promote cooperation and perhaps can also move into crisis management mechanism. And the problem that we see and we have discussed is that the South China Sea, the South China disputes have involved skirmishes among coast guards and maritime law enforcement agencies. So with the adoption and formulation of the Sea Peace document, which is the Coast Guard version of the Qs in naval parlance, how would you think that Sea Peace will reduce or at least decrease incidents among coast guards in skirmishes in the South China Sea? Your thoughts will be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so the role of CPs in de-escalating incidents at sea. Over to you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Atsuko Kanehara, after serving policy advisor to Japan Coast Guard, now I'm a member of external expert network of the information. So my question is very simple. Actually, until last year, I taught public international law at the university in Tokyo. And I really understand that coast guards are facing international related incident almost every minute at sea. So what is the education system of international law, especially for Coast Guard personnel? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And one more question, maybe? Colin, I see you grabbing the mic. No? Jane? Sue? Sue.
Hello. Yes, thank you very much. I think this is my most favorite panel of the conference. My question is that So now we have emerging non-traditional security threats, which are cyber threats in the maritime domain. So my question is to the panel. To what extent the Coast Guards in our region are familiar with these emerging cyber threats in the maritime domain? When I say cyber threats in the maritime domain, I mean cyber attacks against ships, ports, and offshore infrastructure. And if yes, is there any efforts or cooperation mechanisms or any initiatives being taken to strengthen the capabilities of our Coast Guards in the region? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll move back to the panel now. So 3 questions. The first is, what is the role of CPs in de-escalating tensions at sea? What is the current status of educating MLA officers in international law? And to what extent are we familiar with cybercrimes, and are we adopting any initiatives to counter them in the maritime domain? We can maybe begin, or are there any initial? Maybe from the Philippines, and then we'll hear from Bakamla.
I know that my colleagues will help me along the way. So, well, the CPs. Well, the CPs, I think, was initiated here in Manila by the Philippines. Its role will be very practical. We all believe that laws and rules are a product of compromises. Once you observe the rules and the law, then you have that better chance to maintain order and stability. It's the philosophy that we've been trying to put forward. The CPs is intended to guide the actions of Coast Guards at sea, not by imposing or not by introducing new norms or introducing new rules, but simply by reminding them that they have this obligation to adhere to different conventions, relevant conventions, to which their respective countries are already signatories to. So that will be the role of CPs. It will shape the mindsets of the Coast Guards engaging with each other at sea, shaping them towards the IMO conventions and other relevant norms which are common to all of us. Moving forward, we hope that CPs, once it is fully in place, will create a norm unique to ASEAN that will also encourage external players who will be roaming our seas to abide to or abide with. And through that, I think we will have better chance to keep this maritime region safer than what it is today. That is the goal. On the second question is how well we have educated our ranks on public international law or international humanitarian law. The Philippine Coast Guard believes that our strength is anchored in our knowledge. And we have invested so much in training our people to be adept and to understand by heart international law. We have incorporated it in our career courses because we believe that if we are to pursue a rules-based order and to be the protector of rules and laws in this part of the world, foremost, we must have knowledge of the law and the rules. And number 3, on cybercrime. Well, we have no choice. We really have to be acquainted and be knowledgeable on whatever there is in the cyber domain. We have incorporated it in our maritime or our modernization program. We have also adjusted our curriculum to incorporate it. And in the Philippines, the Philippine Coast Guard has few choices. The National Cybersecurity Plan of the country has identified the Coast Guard to lead in the security of whatever is related to cyber security at sea. So we're doing it, so we must learn it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that comment. I'm going to open it back up to the panel for any other supplementary comments on cybercrime, international law at PIMAC. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you for the question. I would like to talk about the cybercrime or cybersecurity. If to compare for TIMEC and other maritime enforcement agency, we still very young. We just was born about 6 years ago. So for the international law, we try to learn and training and everything that we try, this dialogue and other events that help us a lot to protect our sea. And because of the TIMEC is the interagency, we bring the expertise from like a marine department, custom, fisheries department, and coastal and resource department, and also the marine police, and another like a labor department to bring the experience and their law. They have the law, but the leader of the TIMEC is the Navy. But we have different law, different obligation or duty. But we try to make and organize, integrated all the interagency. For the law, we have to learn for TIMEC. But for the cybercrime, cyber threat, actually, in my opinion, for TIMEC, we didn't get any duty from the government now. But the National Security Council would like to let us lead for the maritime cyber security or the maritime threat. But to my opinion, I already think about that. Because if we think about the maritime cyber security, it doesn't matter that what is the media, because the cyber attack is depend on the network. You can be the hacker or you can get in the network. But if you are the hacker, you can select the target. The port, offshore, or ship or something is just the target. It's maybe not only on the coastal port or ship or maybe the AS station or other facility that connect with the internet. So if I be the hacker, I can be anywhere in the world. If I can get in the network, I can select the target. So for this question, I think it depends on the National Cyber Security Council to do and let the other agency to work together, because I think many maritime enforcement agencies don't have the hardware, peopleware, or maybe the budget for create the cyber protection only for the maritime cyber security at port or another place nearby the shore or in the offshore ocean. Thank you.
Thank you. There's definitely, the key to all this, I think, is in synergy, in really bringing together an interagency approach, and that's something that TIMEC has very quickly learned to do. I'm going to field in more questions from Jane Chan, and then we'll have Colin Cole, and then we'll have Isaac over there.
Thank you. Testing. 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 Thank you, Dr. Ashura, and thank you to our panelists. Admiral Somborn mentioned earlier on, if I heard you correctly, that there potentially could be coordinated patrols by the ACF members. In my limited understanding is that some of the Coast Guard or MLE has limited jurisdiction within territorial waters only. So, perhaps you could share with us some examples of where such coordinated patrols could be conducted, and in those areas, will it be limited to the relevant coastal states only, or do you envisage actually a coordinated patrol by all ACF member states? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shen. May I answer the Shen question first?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
For ASEAN Coast Guard Forum and also the coordinate patrol, actually for timing, we use the Navy as the patrol vessel. Like we have the patrol with the Indonesia and also Malaysia in the Andaman Sea that close to our border. When we have ship next to Malaysia, so Thai will send and patrol together with the Malaysia. And also if we close to Indonesia, we also have the patrol together like the Tanok in Sea operation that we have. And sometimes we have the coordination patrol in the Thai Gulf also with the Malaysia and also the Vietnam Navy. So because we have the fourth only Thai, we don't have the actual Coast Guard ship. So we use the Navy ship to do the coordinate patrol. Yes.
Thank you for that. We're going to Colin Cole, please. Go ahead.
Hi. First of all, many thanks to the panelists for your question. I have two questions actually, but feel free to pick and choose what to answer. I think first is, all of you mentioned about the need for cooperation. I think that resonates very clearly. But I would like to really ask a question because when it comes to cooperation between the respective MLEA agencies, then what are those internal and external challenges to your organizations that you face in trying to promote cooperation? So that's the first question. The second question is that the regional maritime space is not always so clearly delineated between Coast Guard vessels operating in the same water space or Navy vessels operating in the same water space. So under such circumstances where you have a mixture of Navy and Coast Guard vessels operating together, do you see prospects for any common protocol that could be agreed upon and implemented by these two very different types of agencies? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to try pull in Isaac, and then we'll have Dr. Nata de Castro and Aizawa. Isaac, please.
Hello. Am I audible?
Just about. If you could speak up a bit more, that'd be helpful.
Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Bryn Isaac. I'm from the Philippine International Law Advocacy Academy. So considering the varying levels of funding, training, operational capacity across ASEAN member states, maritime law enforcement agencies, how can the ACGF adopt a flexible yet equitable framework for capacity building that ensures members can meaningfully contribute to and benefit from joint initiatives? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yep, and
I am Professor De Castro from the Philippines. I would like to address my question to Admiral Gaban and to his Malaysian and Indonesian counterparts. My question pertains to the fact that among us three countries, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Indonesia, we have lingering territorial disputes that has been there since, of course, sometimes even before ASEAN was formed, and of course at the moment when ASEAN was formed. So do these territorial disputes stand out as an obstacle to Coast Guard cooperation among the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia?
thank you. And your neighbor?
Thank you very much. I'm Riho Aizawa from NIDS, National Institute for Defense Studies from Japan. I have a very peaceful question to all of you. So we already have military-to-military regional frameworks like CUES, the Code for Unplanned Encounters at Sea. So do you think developing such regional communication mechanism among Coast Guard agencies will be useful too? Thank you very much.
Sorry, that wasn't clear. If you can just mention your last bit again.
Last name, you said? Aizawa, yeah.
Sorry, yes, I got your name. I mean the last part of your question.
The question is about the potential regional communication mechanism, like military-to-military mechanisms we have, like CUES. So potential such cooperative regional communication mechanism among Coast Guard agencies.
Perfect, got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. All right, so we've got a couple of questions here, and I'd encourage our panelists to take this as perhaps your last comments, as we are up against a hard stop with time. We will be looking into regional communication mechanisms, challenges faced in promoting cooperation, common protocols between the Navy and the Coast Guard, how we can adopt a more flexible capacity building framework, and specifically to PCG and MMEA, to what extent are territorial disputes an obstacle to cooperation? Maybe we can first start with Bakamla.
Thank you. Until now, ICF not really meet the outside challenges. We now try to make ICF part of ASEAN Secretariat. And then a little challenge is not all the member states of ICF is not have the same capacity, same assets, and that's why and facility of training and education. That's why we need SCF as a media. We can exchange our personnel, exchange for training and education, and also we try to discuss and speak what can we do? Maybe in the next or in the future, we can also have a joint exercise together, all the members of the ASEAN Coast Guard Forum member states. But we working on it. And then last time a question about the corporate. In Indonesia, we have already several corporate coordinated patrol with Malaysia, with Filipina, and also with Australia outside of ACF. But we did the corporate, and last time we have tripartite patrol, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore at Singapore Strait and Malacca Strait. And also we have a new SOP for our 3 countries. And is the dispute area at Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines as an obstacle? I think no, because we 3 countries just focus on how to face the security threats and safety threats at the region. And until now, the Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines have also tripartite patrol in Navy, Indo-Malpi operation at the region that you said. Until now, they continue, and maybe next time, Indonesia Coast Guard, Malaysia MMEA, and Filipina Coast Guard also have a tripartite operation at the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Wakamla. Over to MMEA.
Thank you, Dr. Ashura. So it is quite intimidating questions because to be here in front of all the esteemed delegates, you must have a good answers for all the questions. So pertaining to territorial disputes, I would like to start by saying this, that with regards to locations, I can say that Malaysia is strategically located in the center of ASEAN. We have borders with Thailand up north. We have borders, maritime borders with Singapore down south. We have maritime borders with Indonesia, with Brunei, with Philippines, with almost majority of the ASEAN member states in terms of maritime borders. So this brings quite a challenge for Malaysia, especially when some of these borders, we have disputes pertaining to maritime territory. So, and some of the dispute until today, we have not yet delimits. So the process of maritime delimitation is still going on. But before that, as a maritime enforcement agency, we need to patrol these waters. And so do our, my counterpart here from the Indonesia Coast Guard, from the Philippine Coast Guard. They also need to patrol these waters. And I can see proudly that until today, we have been able to patrol these waters together. We have conducted, I think, many joint operations. We have, like with Indonesia, we have the Patko Malindo, Patroli Koordinasi with Malaysia, Indonesia, and for this we have this female exercise with Philippines. And with Thailand, we have this Sex Tamal, we have this SAREC exercise as well. So it shows that as a Coast Guard, we can work together, even though there are still areas that have yet to be settled. And then to make things better with Indonesia, I can say that we have MOUs, MOUs on the common guidelines, whereby how we can we operate in these disputed waters. So with that, I think I can conclude my remarks. So I'll leave it to Admiral Gawan if he has something more to say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Admiral. If we can try keep our remarks short, I think the organizers are hounding us.
Thank you, Doctor. Well, it can be a challenge if we will focus on what can challenge it. So the approach of the Philippine Coast Guard is we've been focusing on the lowest hanging fruits, those that we can do without, factoring in so much the territorial dimension of the engagement. And what are those? Information exchange, for example. You need not agree on your territories for you to be able to exchange information. Search and rescue. Everybody needs to survive. So we can coordinate with the other on search and rescue. Environmental protection. It is everybody's obligation to keep the environment safe and well, not only for today, but for the future. I don't see, and I haven't seen any factor that can hinder our potential to cooperate with our neighbors just because we still have some issues to resolve insofar as our territory is concerned. We just have to be mature. We shouldn't be hogtied by those things that needs or might need a lifetime to resolve. In the case of Indonesia, we're very happy because we have a well-defined border with them. So we're able to do coordinated patrol with them in a more straightforward way. But even with Malaysia, we have had several success stories with them. We were able to cooperate in addressing piracy, in handover of survivors of, maritime incidents. So far, I don't see and I can't see any reason why we should be hard up in pursuing cooperation with the littoral states. We're still good. I cannot comment on the other. Please refresh me on the other questions, please.
I think the question was on accuse, for
Yes.
example, but I do think we're short on time, so we may need to
On
wrap
the
this up.
in the intersect between the military and law enforcement, CUES in itself is also anchored on IMO conventions called differently. The principles are the same. It seeks to avoid actions that threaten safety of ships. It can also be addressed through our adherence to call regs, to SOLAS, all the relevant maritime conventions which govern or to ensure the mature actions of actors at sea. They are common. So I think we just have to finalize first our observance of the CPs. Then we can migrate somehow in finding the intersects, which actually exist, so we can have better communication protocol with the military. Yeah. It's not the problem. Yeah. Another one is the capacity building framework that should be guiding us. The skill set required among Coast Guards are common. And actually, several initiatives are already in place, including UNODC's supported VBSS or vessel board and search and seizure training. So there are so many skills requirements that can be pursued because these are common amongst Coast Guards. Again, we just have to prioritize. Let's give highest priority to the lowest hanging fruits, those that we can do now. And then we just, inch forward to those who will be needing more effort to achieve. The more important thing amongst us, ASEAN Coast Guard, is to have a platform where we can engage with each other. We believe that for as long as we are talking with each other, so many things could be addressed.
Thank you, Admiral. We'll give the floor now to Vice Admiral from TIMEC.
For me, or TIMEC, I think for the important thing now is the information sharing that can make the communication mechanism through our Coast Guard agency to make it better. Like we have many conference, and also we have the tabletop exercise that also we coordinate together. Also that we have the information sharing center like the IFC in the Singapore that we work together and all the ASEAN members stay there, and also we sharing the data to the Indian Ocean also. So there are so many information center or information fusion center that can make us communication and understand more. Like we have situation from any country, we can send to the information fusion center in Singapore. And if any situation happen, that center can share the information. That is the one mechanism that we can use for the communication mechanism. And also this dialogue, we can make more communication. That is a good mechanism also. Actually, at the final, if we have the experience more, and we have the, actually for the situation in the at sea, we are common. We have the same situation. Maybe different countries have different situation, much more or less only, but we have the same thing. So any situation we can communicate, and we can use the ASEAN Charter or our ASEAN way to make together and coordination. So I don't think the communication mechanism is the problem for us. And also for the capability building or capacity building, we work together. We have a lot of the training, and we share our personal training also in every country that we have. And also we have all the exercise together. That is the term of to increase the capacity building. That also we get support from the UNODC and other partners like from the US, and also the system like the Sea Vision, or that we can have another maybe system that can support. So this is make our capacity building better and understand together, and so we can see the same picture at sea. So that is the way that we do, and thank you for all the support for the all other partners, not only in the ASEAN, and also the future partner that we are agree to get the support and also work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Admiral. Well, clearly we unpacked a lot, but we didn't have enough time to unpack more, not just on Coast Guard cooperation, but on the ASEAN Coast Guard Framework Forum as well and its future. Either way, we know it's a strategic asset, and in order to reach its full potential, we hope that it will be able to undergo a successful formalization through the ASEAN process eventually. That is, however, not a testament to Coast Guard cooperation within the region, for as we see, it is going quite strong and steady. So thank you very much to our panelists and also to the audience for their intriguing questions. And we'd like now to give the floor back to the MC. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give them a big, big round of applause. And thank you to our panelists.